So this is my Aggro Resurrect Priest. People who watch my channel might remember that I played something like this back in Karazhan when Onyx Bishop was released. The reasoning being basically, if you can play some well-statted minions every turn, especially like an injured Blade Master, and then you can follow that up with cheap Resurrects, that's really good tempo, and big tempo plays like that work really well in an aggro deck. So I played this in Karazhan. What reason do I have to come back to it now? One of the main problems with this deck was it didn't have a good 2-drop. I tried Twisted Worgen before, but it's just kind of underwhelming. But now that Cabal Talon Priest exists, Twisted Worgen is suddenly a pretty good 2-drop for this kind of deck, because it's stealth, so you're pretty much guaranteed to have something for the Cabal Talon Priest to land on. And the 3-1 stat line is pretty good to receive +3 health. If you hit this curve of Worgen into Talon Priest, on turn 3 you have 2, 3, 4 minions, one of which can attack that turn. It's a pretty strong curve. And the stealth from Twisted Worgen makes it one of the best 2-drops to get back with Resurrect because it's likely to actually get some of its damage in. So the first few games I played were with a slightly different list, but I decided that version didn't have enough gadgets and flavor with just the Talon Priests. I think I had a Cabal Songstealer in the deck too, but it didn't really have much impact. So I decided to cut a couple of cards for Leatherclad Hog Leaders. Hog Leader kind of makes sense in this deck anyway, because if you're up against a control, there's a pretty good chance you can charge it, and a 6-mana 6/6 charge is a pretty good aggro card. And even if you just happen to pull it off Barnes, it won't have charge, but you can resurrect it, and 2 mana for a 6/6 is pretty solid. So looking at the list, it might be a little bit more correct to consider this a tempo deck rather than an aggro deck, but it's got Leeroy, it's got 2 Mind Blasts, it's got a little bit of burst with 2 Aucheneyes and a Flash Heal. You've also got Velen to combo with a Mind Blast, so you can do a lot of burst damage to finish off the game. So I think I can justify calling it an aggro deck. And Aggro Priest looks a little bit better in the thumbnail than Tempo Priest.
Tyrande versus Malfurion.
My beloved Toad.
My dear Malfurion.
I think I just have to full mulligan here. If I had an injured Blade Master, I would probably consider keeping at least 1 Onyx Bishop. But I can't just keep those hoping that I draw into things to play. Coin Barnes into Aucheneye Soul Priest is a pretty nice early curve. Hopefully I can draw into a Twisted Worgen or an injured Blade Master or something. Kinda sucks that I missed my 2, but I have some good options for turns 3 and 4. So what's the best 4 to play here? If I just go for Barnes, he can just swipe it. None of my Barnes targets are particularly good this turn, but I did pick up the Resurrect, so if I hit something like Velen or Ragnaros, it can be pretty sick. I'd also play Holy Champion. It also dies to swipe, but it guarantees this thing dies. Turn 6 for Jade Druid is usually the 3/6 guy. I guess I would want to just Shadowward Pain him. And then I guess if I'm playing Shadowward Pain next turn, I would want to play Resurrect along with it. And Barnes is the most likely to give me something I can resurrect. Not sure how much that line of reasoning makes sense, but it makes a little bit of sense to me. Okay, I think I just play a 4 here, and then my next turn is probably either Pain or Resurrect plus Talon Priest.
You would lead our people to ruin.
Alright, all things considered, that Fandrel's probably not going to get too much value. I do have to Shadowward Pain this guy, and unfortunately my Talon Priest isn't going to land on anything here. I could choose to Resurrect instead. I think I have, what, a Barnes and 2 Holy Champions? No, an Aucheneye Soul Priest and a Holy Champion.
I wonder.
So I have pretty decent Resurrect targets, but if I go for Shadowward Pain Resurrect here, I waste 1 mana, and then on 6 next turn, I don't really have a great play. I guess if I got the Aucheneye back, Or I do just have an Auchenai in my hand, so it could be Auchenai hero power.
What is a loon's will?
I guess I'll go for that.
A will avoid.
If I had decided to just play Talon Priest here, then next turn could have been 4-drop plus Resurrect. That might have been stronger overall. But it's also possible he plays Ancient of War, and I have Shadow or Death Cabal Talon Priest. Alright, well, this line of play worked out a lot better for me. But unfortunately, we're getting into late game against Druid. For some reason, he has like 6 more mana than I do. And I'm not really that far ahead on board. But his Jade Golems are still only 3/3s. They're relatively small. Looks like his hand was kind of weak. That's interesting. His hand is probably like Innervate Wild Growth. What other card would you even be holding there? Living Roots, maybe? Well, anyway.
I wonder.
I'd probably just slam Velen here. I don't get any value out of it this turn, but it's a 7/7, and I have a Mind Blast in my hand, so he might do some work. Mulch is really the only answer to Velen, and I think he would have mulched a 3/8 last turn. Alright, I would have mulched a 3/8 Auchenai Soul Priest, probably. Hogger. Alright, I can get some use out of Hogger. Do I Circle of Healing here? Probably just trade in my 2 dudes and play... I don't know, Hogger's not that good here because the mana usage is weird. I guess I can Hero Power his 4/4 so it's down to a 4/2 and then it dies to the Null. Or I can just play a couple 4-drops. Or I can play Circle and then do something else. I think I'm just going to play a couple 4-drops here.
How many fingers do you see?
I guess if he has Swipe, it's pretty decent here, but I think he would have played Swipe a couple turns ago if he had it. But I guess since then he's had a couple draws. Okay, relatively weak turn from him. And I can get my Hogger going now. Hogger better than Onyx Bishop though. What's died for Onyx Bishop? I have lost a Velen, which is a pretty big deal. A bunch of solid 4-drops, none of my 2s. And the Onyx Bishop seems so strong here. And after I play Hogger, the Onyx Bishop just keeps getting worse.
I wonder.
I think Onyx Bishop is the play.
You wish to live forever.
Probably the worst thing I had in the pool. I guess I also had Barnes though. Powered Shield's a nice pickup, but where do I want to play it? Maybe on one of my 3/4s so it trades into this a little bit better? Or maybe I just play it on Holy Champion so she survives this Jade Golem? The Holy Champion seems like she could put in some work.
Does this hurt?
Not sure how I'm trading here, but I'm playing these cards. Alright. Let's do it like this. Keep my Holy Champion relatively healthy, but keep most of my board out of swipe range. If he has double swipe, I lose here. Okay, he cycled it there. That seems like a weird place to cycle it. This Yogg. Don't Yogg me, bro. Don't fucking Yogg me. Is this real life? That was such a good Yogg. He killed 4 minions. He got a Jade Golem, which he then evolved into a 6/8. Fuck me.
What
Does this do 4 damage to him or 4 damage to me? If it does 4 damage to him, then I have like 5, 10, I have 20 damage here.
Feel my pain.
How does this work? Oh, it heals him for 4. Okay. That kinda sucks. What am I even doing right now? That was such a bad turn. I can still pull out a win, but it's gonna be really hard. Fucking Yogg, man. And then card draw, of course. Probably need a Ragnaros here. Hawkeye's okay. It's damage. Holding on to this Mind Blast because maybe I can resurrect Velen.
Golems are a girl's best friend.
It is finished. You win.
Well played.
Tyrande versus Rexa.
Let the hunt begin.
Alone give me strength.
What is this? Hunter? I have Twisted Worgen for turn 2, Blade Master for turn 3. So I just kept the Resurrect. It's one of the best cards in my deck. And there's a pretty good chance that I could make it so the Blade Master is the first minion I lose this game.
I taste blood. Astounding.
You will regret this.
Scavenging Hyena. So I play Blade Master here every time. The question is, do I trade off the 3/1? It gets the scary Scavenging Hyena off the board, but it makes my Resurrect worse. But with this hand, I'm probably not playing Resurrect until turn 5 anyway. So I'll just play Blade Master and kill this thing. There's also some other consideration to leave the Worgen stealthed to deal with a freezing trap if he plays it. But I guess I just decided not to do that. I could heal my Blade Master and resurrect a 3/1, so I'd have a 4/1 and a 3/1 on the board. Or I could just trade off the Blade Master, play a Holy Champion.
What is
I think I'd rather have a 3/5 than 2 weak minions. Although against Hunter it's not really that likely to be punished, but it was kinda bad against Explosive Trap or Unleash the Hounds.
Apple on your head.
Okay. Just go for the Onyx Bishop here. Pretty big 50-50 on what I hit. Got the bad one for sure. I don't think there was really any debate to what I killed there, but especially with the 3/1 in play, I have to kill the Knife Juggler. My deck does not have a good answer to Savannah High main.
How many things
Nice, I won the 50-50 that time. I guess I do have a relatively good answer to the high main, which is just ignore it. Seems like the play for sure. So it looks like I'm probably gonna have 7 power on board at the end of this turn. What the fuck is this? Did I just lose the Hunter? Well, I haven't lost yet. I have a lot of damage, actually. I have 7 on board and 16 in hand, so I'm 1 off. I can't play it all this turn, obviously, but in theory I'm 1 off. He's showing 22, so if I just heal I'm not dead to kill command, which I guess is a pretty big deal. I don't know how I can get my lethal in, though. If I just play Injured Blade Master, he's just gonna kill my board. Although I guess if he's killing my board, it's giving me more time to draw into damage. I guess I'm just gonna go for this. Maybe I force him to trade. I only have 11 from hand next turn, and there's nothing I can draw that's lethal. Assuming he clears my board. That's really bad. Now I'm probably never getting this Leeroy damage in. Oh, he left my Injured Blade Master up. So he's dead, right?
Thanks. Your turn to
Oh, it feels so good when they hit you with the thanks and then you just lethal them. Ah, feels good, man. He definitely threw that game. No reason for him to leave the Blade Master up.
Tranda versus Gul'dan.
Your soul shall be mine.
Alone give me strength.
I kinda like this hand. I have coin 4 into 4, and if he's aggro, if he's zoo, I have Akanai Circle. And outside of the Twisted Worgen, my deck doesn't really come online until turn 3 anyway. So this gives me a turn 3 play. Although I guess with coin Injured Blade Master it could come online on turn 2, but whatever. Looks like he is just Reno Lock. Reno Lock might be an okay matchup for me, just since I have so much burn. Let's go for the Barnes high roll. Worst minion in the deck. Barnes has so much potential, but I think I might just have to cut it. I literally just low roll with it every single time. Let's just play a 4-7 here. Maybe I should have played Circle instead of Flash Heal. Even though it was mana inefficient, the Flash Heal is face damage and the Circle isn't. Sometimes I try too hard to be mana efficient.
Buying or selling.
That was such a good Mortal Coil for him. Not only did it kill my dude, but it also diluted my Resurrect pool. Try to res something. I'm not even sure if the 3-4 is preferable to the stealth minion there, as the 3-4 probably just dies to the Twilight Drake. The stealth minion would have at least likely gotten in some damage. I think I'm 1 damage off here, right? 7 on board, 10 in hand.
Killing spree.
Well,
I cannot do that.
let's just set him into double Mind Blast range and hope he doesn't have Reno. I find that's usually how you have to play against Reno decks, is hope they don't have Reno. Given that I hero powered his face instead of the 2-2, it's probably pretty obvious that I have damage. He could still have Earthen Ring Farseer or Refreshment Vendor. Oh, I won. Cool. I guess theoretically he could still have Mistress of Mixture Soulfire. But he didn't, so I won.